Welcome in, everyone. We are back here on Sports 10. I'm Blythe Whaley alongside Bill Hupp, and it is October, and I can't believe we've already made it this far in the year, but it's here. We can see it in the leaves and everything like that.
Yeah, it's definitely in the midst of the high school sports season in the fall, and yeah, hard to believe it's October. Hard to believe half these teams have their regular seasons already over. It's going to be section playoff time before you know it.
Yeah, and you can feel it as in feeling it on the football field, of course.
Yeah, no doubt. We have a bevy of football highlights coming up. Blaine hosting Totino Grace on homecoming at Bengals Stadium, looking to bounce back after a tough loss at STMA last week. Homecoming, first drive of the game. Bengals front four forces a fumble and recovers it at the Eagles' 40-yard line. Defense fired up. They take advantage of the good field position. Off play action, A.J. Call hits Jordan Reynolds on a quick slant from 13 yards out for the early lead. Ryan Schweiger tacks on a 34-yard field goal before halftime to make it a two-score game. That'd be enough as the defense pitches a shutout in front of a raucous student section at home. As you see the football game summary right there, Call, a very efficient 10 of 16 for 96 yards, but it was really about what they did on the defensive side. 5 tackles and a couple sacks for Clayton Huber. Jaden Grant chipped in with the sack as well. All about the defense and the turnovers they forced, holding Totino Grace completely off the scoreboard as Blaine bounced back from a loss earlier to go above 500 and improve to 3-2.
Our next football matchup here from last week, Centennial Cougars at the Wayzata Trojans. Centennial kicking us off in that first quarter. This is Lance Nielsen Jr. weaving his way through the defenders. He keeps this up by the end of the game. He's going to have a blanket made. But keep your eyes still on that left side of your screen as Lance Nelson Jr. gets it done again. 6 points on the board. The Cougars are up. See if Wayzata can have a turn of their own. Not on Chase Granzo's watch. He takes him down and his team helps him out. Wayzata, some unlucky stuff happening here in this game, and this one proves that again as they heave it to the end zone, and the Cougars, Reese Newdahl comes up with it. Centennial, can things keep going their way? Daniel O'Neill taking it with this massive gain here before being taken out. The Cougars only win it here by 6, but that's all they needed. Like we said, those completion yards, 66, 63, so they're very close. Rushing yards, 177 for the Cougars, 106 for the Trojans. But overall, again, just a very low-scoring game for these guys, but the Cougars come out on top.
Number 10, Spring Lake Park, with its toughest test of the season to date, visiting unbeaten and 5th-ranked Matamidi. 48 seconds into the game, the Panthers' Nate Litke powers up the middle, through the secondary, and up down the seam for a 77-yard touchdown run as SLP does what it does best from the get-go in this one. Later in the quarter, Litke's backfield Nick Ogile is the first man through the line and drags defenders into the end zone for 6. Ogile pitched in on defense as well, tracking down Zephyr's quarterback Charlie Brandt here for one of SLP's 3 sacks on the night. Late second quarter, Braden Talso on the quarterback keep, weaving his way through defenders down inside the 10-yard line. And then Ogile punches it in from 3 yards out to give SLP a commanding 21-0 lead at the half. Panthers aren't done yet. However, Litke adds his second rushing touchdown of the game near the end of the third, a punishing run from 17 yards out. Braden Comer adds the icing on the proverbial Zephyr cake with SLP's 5th rushing touchdown of the game. Panthers blow out the Zephyrs 35-7. They should be back in the top 5 in the Class 5A rankings this week. As you see, they do what they do. 335 rushing yards on the ground, dominating from start to finish and making the state notice in Class 5A that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with come playoff time. And there you see the football standings. Centennial, courtesy of its win at Wayzata, bunched up at the top with Maple Grove, Minnetonka, and Wayzata all at 3-1. Blaine not far behind at 2-2. And it's a packed race.
Yeah, definitely. In Spring Lake Park over there with 1-0 and 4-1 overall. But let's take a look at those schedules for these guys. Kicking us off with Blaine, of course, coming off of that win versus Totino Grace. They'll take on Centennial on the 7th and Wayzata on the 15th. Centennial, we see them getting those last couple wins versus Maple Grove and Wayzata. They'll take on Blaine on the 7th and Minnetonka on the 15th.
And Spring Lake Park will look to extend its winning streak to 3 games. They'll be hosting Cooper. You can see that live on North Metro TV on Friday at Panther Stadium. So, great success. Teams are really rolling on the football field. And on the soccer pitch as well, a lot of success. And we see players like Kendall Stadden contributing on the football field, and of course, doing what she does on the soccer stadium, soccer pitch as well.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are in store for some great highlights, some fantastic, terrific goals that were had last week. So let's get to it, Bill. Let's show us some of these.
Indeed. A wild one in boys soccer as the Panthers visited Coon Rapids last Tuesday. Cardinals' Yukon Harmon intercepts a back pass, turns and fires home a left-footed shot past SLP keeper Sam Stile. The Cardinals captain scored with his head soon after, nodding it home at the back post to make it 2-0 Coon Rapids. SLP's defensive woes continued as Yaya Sidibe converted the Cardinals' 3rd goal in about 6 minutes to make it 3-0 at the break. Second half, Harmon gets his hat trick. Look at this nifty turn in the box, and he is all fired up. But then it was Abdul Akinola's time to shine. He wallops a beautiful long-range effort from 30 yards out to get SLP on the score sheet. And then slaloms through the Cardinals' defense, slides it past the goalie to pull the Panthers within 2. Akinola would get his hat trick by curling one in off the inside of the post to get the Panthers within a goal with just 11 minutes left. But 2 minutes later, the Cardinals score a well-worked goal to make it 5-3. Late second half, Maid Medic fires home from an impossible angle, an absolute rocket, but the comeback would fall just short for the Panthers. They scorched the nets, but fall to the Cardinals on the road. Girls' game would be much more to SLP's liking. Early first half, Brianna Finnegan takes the ball here and beats the goalkeeper at her near post with a low, hard shot. Cardinals, however, would soon tie it up off a long free kick, headed on and fired past the goaltender, and the goal score was tied 1-1 at the half. In the second half, a long shot from distance tested the Cardinals' keeper, and Avery Dunbar was there to pounce on the rebound and give SLP the lead for good. Not sure if senior Katie Booth intended this to be a shot or a cross, but she managed to chip the keeper from distance to make it 3-1 SLP. Panthers tally a 4th goal with another rebound as time expired. They win this one comfortably by a final of 4-1.
Now, a couple of our teams battled each other last week. Blaine was at Spring Lake Park. The ladies kicking us off. This was that last Thursday. But look at this. Stadden on the Jets as she soars past into the box, slots this one low right corner. Man, oh my, she makes that look effortless. She doesn't rest on her glory, though, of that first goal. Passing it to herself, she gets past one defender. Now make that 2. Just gonna cut through the box, slicing and dicing, and that angle as well on hers was quite difficult, but she made it look so easy. Brianna Finnegan now for Spring Lake Park. Tried to get it past Madison Way. They cleared it out, but Stadden got taken down in the box, so she gets this PK opportunity for the hat trick. It was definitely a stat and show out there last Thursday, but she is so, so good. Now, the men. Blaine also at Spring Lake Park in that doubleheader on Thursday. And these guys getting it started was Delu with this free kick. I'm not sure what's better, that free kick or that celebration, but both great. This is Medic though, getting past all the defenders as that ball got chipped up to him. Kita finds the space and the time to slot this one top of the 18-yard box. But Sam Stile is able to make the save off of Jax Moore's shot. This PK, though, for Bowman puts the Bengals up 2-1. And that was a tough one because that one came off a handball. So always unfortunate when you see that ultimately win the game for them. But the standings here for boys soccer, Centennial up there, 6-4-1 in the conference, 7-4-1 overall. Blaine 6-5 and 7-7 overall, and Spring Lake Park 5-6 and 5-9 overall.
And we see the upcoming boys soccer schedules. Centennial visiting Rogers and then hosting Osseo. Blaine with a big game at Champlin Park, who's up near the top of those standings. Spring Lake Park hosting Armstrong and then visiting Anoka. So end of the regular season coming up in boys and girls soccer. Critical moments to line themselves up for section seeding. And then as we see the girls soccer standings, Centennial on top of the conference. Maple Grove, however, defeated the Cougars earlier this week. So that will change things a little bit. Blaine threatening as well. Their only losses this season to Centennial, Maple Grove, and Andover, so it's a bunched race at the top. Centennial suffering their first loss of the season, 2-1 to Maple Grove at home earlier this week, but certainly expect to see a deep run from the Cougars this year.
As we see, Blaine tied that last one versus Mounds View, but they'll take on Champlin Park and Park Center here in the next few days. Centennial, they're on a winning streak, so we'll see if that can continue as they take on Rogers at Rogers on the 5th and Osseo at home on the 8th.
Yeah, that win over Stillwater was absolutely huge for Centennial. And Spring Lake Park hosting Armstrong, and then they visit Anoka before hosting Mounds View again. So a couple tough home games coming up for Spring Lake Park, especially with Mounds View, who just drew with Blaine.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
A lot of action going on, and it's, again, a really exciting time as the regular season start to wrap up and the playoffs start to get underway.
I still can't get over those goals we just saw.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable skill and talent on display, and we're just really happy that we were able to capture it and bring it to you here on North Metro TV.
And we do have some wonderful goalies, but like we said, those goals, some of them were just impossible angles. They couldn't do anything about them.
Yeah, you're not going to save those shots. Absolutely not. So.
But we have one last sport on deck for our highlights tonight, and we'll bump it on over to volleyball.
I see what you did there.
The Bengals at Spring Lake Park. This was last Tuesday's game. As they take to the courts, though, this is the Bengals winding up for this one. Schmitz to put it down and ultimately get the point there for the Bengals. Spring Lake Park recovers, just gets this one over, and sometimes that's all you need to do. Spring Lake Park getting the point there on that one. The Bengals get this over. That was from Smingard, and ultimately winning the first set is the Bengals off of that one. This is the second set now as we get through this one, and Hoiby gets it done for Spring Lake Park as they celebrate that point. But Blaine rockets it over, and again, Hoiby trying to put it over. They don't keep it in play, and the Bengals win the second set 25-20. Spring Lake Park, the effort to get it over, and it pays off. The Panthers get another point, but as we see, match point there on that scoreboard, trying to get it done, but at the net, the Bengals win it. And this was 25-23 in that third set. But as we look at those standings for our volleyball teams, the Bengals in the conference, 4-2 is their record overall, 16-3-1. Spring Lake Park, 2-3 and 4-10 overall. And Centennial, 2-4, 11-6 overall.
Yeah, very bunched standings. As we take a look at our volleyball schedules coming up, Blaine's got a busy week. 3 home games in the next week against North St. Paul, Centennial, and Osseo. Centennial, meanwhile, goes on the road for a couple games coming up at Blaine before hosting STMA and then visiting the Orioles of Osseo. And then Spring Lake Park, again, hosting Tartan and Armstrong before heading on the road, or before going to Tartan and Armstrong, I should say, before hosting Andover and Rogers, 2 of the better squads in the Northwest Suburban Conference. So challenging weeks ahead for all of our volleyball teams in our coverage area.
But as we look at the tennis results, we have #1 singles. This is between Armstrong and Blaine, and ultimately Erickson defeats Garber 7-5, 6-3. And in doubles, Miller-Scheibe duo defeating Rausch and Sharpert 7-5, 6-0. So in doubles, they get the win.
They do, and ultimately they get the win here as well. Another 5-2 win for Blaine over Osseo. And this time Molly Garber gets the win at first singles. In fact, they swiped all 4 singles matches before dropping the first 2 in doubles. But ultimately Blaine comes away with the win, and look at those straight set victories for the Bengals. Have to feel very good about their chances as they head to section play.
As we look at the swimming and diving schedules coming up, Andover on the 7th at 6 p.m. and then not until the 16th with the true team meet for the Bengals. Centennial will be at home against Rogers on the 8th and home again versus Elk River on the 14th.
And then Spring Lake Park at Osseo before they go to the Cambridge Invite. Rogers, they have the true team meet, and then the conference tournament. So busy schedule coming up indeed for the Panthers. And here is our busy schedule. A couple football games coming up, and section play and soccer play.
Yeah, this is my favorite time of the year when we start to get towards those playoffs, everything on the line, and our teams just giving it their all on the field because they have to.
Yep, visit northmetrotv.com for our full coverage schedule. Of course, you can catch all games live on Comcast Channel 859 and on our YouTube channel. You can also catch up on any games you missed by visiting our website and our YouTube channel as well.
Well, as we approach our favorite time of the year, I know we just mentioned playoffs just around the corner, and that just brings all the more intensity to our show as we see those highlights of our teams trying to make it on to that next level.
Yep, no doubt about it. We will have so much more to show you on next Monday's show, episode 7 of season 19. Lots to catch up on and lots to recap as we get into a busy and exciting time of year here in the North Metro area.
Yeah, did you have a favorite highlight? Did anything stand out?
Oh, some of those soccer goals. Well, actually, I was in that Centennial win over Wayzata in football on the road, #2 team in state. A huge win for the Cougars. They're just playing lights out defensively right now, running the football, doing what they do. They're on a roll right now, and it'll be exciting to see how far they can go.
Yeah,
and we will have that for you on Sports 10. So for Blythe Whaley, the rest of our crew, I'm Bill Hutt. Good night. See you next week on Sports 10.